Well, to talk more about why America seems to be so gung-ho about going to war, Danny Schechter, filmmaker and blogger at newsdissector.net. Welcome to the show. What do you think America is addicted to war?
Well, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, that's how the U.S. Marine Corps anthem begins. It's a sort of a global salute to its own war-making powers that have gone on for, well over 150 years in various parts of the world. The United States has become an empire, really, not just a nation. It has interests all over the world. It has troops and bases and military relationships in well over 150 countries. And so this is really something that's not just a militarism, but it has actually a concrete purpose. It takes care of supporting American interests. It creates and generates jobs for Americans. This military-industrial complex actually is very functional for the United States. It's a form of Pentagon socialism, where government funding creates jobs, but there's nobody there to criticize it as, stimulus programs that don't work. They want more Pentagon spending, the Republicans do, but so do the Democrats.
Danny, who benefits from going to war?
Well, in the short run, people who are finding jobs in the military do. They can't find jobs in other industries. So many jobs have been outsourced. So a career in the military seems at first to be very helpful and very positive. A lot of young people are signing up. It's a volunteer army because they're being told about all the benefits and the educational benefits to follow. But then what happens is, as they get into combat and into various conflicts around the world, they suffer a high level of casualties, post-traumatic stress, and the breakup of their families. And this leads to all these violent incidents we keep hearing about returning soldiers beating or killing their wives or their families. All of this is a kind of a violence that is unchecked, and it has a long history in America, starting with wars on other nations right here, the Indian nations, who were conquered by the American military at the very beginning, of this country.
Now, Danny, do you think oftentimes it's a diversion, going to war is a diversion from the problems in our own country, whether they're social or economic? We have plenty of both problems today.
Well, it can be. It's interesting that Donald Trump, who's, certainly as right-wing as they come, is accusing the Obama administration of planning a war on Iran to help his re-election bid. Others on the left have been saying something similar, that if Obama is not doing well by October, it's likely that some sort of war might start as a way to unify the public. Let's hope not. But there is strategic options. Nothing has been left off the table. And there's a functional reason for that. Wars rally the population. They give people a sense of importance, a sense of power. And, often it leads to tremendous disappointment. But while it's going on, we can point and say, we're number one, America number one, until we're not anymore.
Well, Danny, when is it okay to go to war then? When is it acceptable?
Well, first of all, war is supposed to be, at least in our country, defensive. That is to say, either we've been attacked or are being attacked. Congress then has to sign off on the war. There has to be a declaration of war. But what's happening increasingly is that war is being fought covertly, secretly, without the knowledge or support of Congress or support of the American people. And we have these deployments that keep taking place in many countries that Americans have never even heard of. All of it justified in the name of national security, but it shows our insecurity, our anxiety about the world, and about America's losing position of preeminence in it.
And certainly there's a lot of anxiety today when it comes to Iran. Hopefully it doesn't get to that point. Danny, thank you so much for coming on the show. That was Danny Schechter, filmmaker and blogger at newsdissector.net.